Hello, friends and family on Facebook. Today is day 15 of 21. Crazy, right? I don't even, why am I even trying to use my hands anymore? It's in double digits. I only have 10 fingers. Anyway, so hello and welcome on a Saturday. I'm here a bit earlier than normal because I have a function today, and so I didn't want to cancel it all together or push it back. So today's day 15, and we begin the next 3 days working on the selves, self-confidence, self-esteem, self-worth. Can be very challenging for a lot of people because these are things that not only get us and kind of stop us from kind of moving through our life because these selves are constantly running in our head, but they can also become saboteurs, which we're going to spend a whole day next week talking about self-saboteurs by itself because it's very separate. Vicky, Mike, thank you guys for popping in. Love to see you guys. Thanks so much for your support. All right, so we're going to dive right in with self-confidence. Okay, there's a big difference between self-confidence, self-esteem, and self-worth. And over the next 3 days, we will talk about each. Today is confidence. So what exactly is self-confidence? We hear this all the time that like, oh, that person, he or she seems to have so much confidence, or wow, look at them. I wish I could have that kind of confidence like they have. And so what really is self-confidence? Self-confidence is about the experience. Okay, so let me explain. Tammy, hello. Thank you, love, for popping in. Love to see you. So self-confidence is the experience. I'll use an example first because it's always easier. The experience. I know how to ride a bike. I used to ride a bike all the time. I haven't ridden a bike in 20 years, but I know that once I get back on it, I will remember how to ride that bike. I have the experience that taught me. I am confident in that, okay? Now, again, there might be a lot of different schools of thought about what these various things are, what self-confidence is, what self-esteem is, what self-worth is. But this is, been here, had oyster meat on my hands. I couldn't text. Oh, it's okay, Vicky. Eat your oysters. Eat that, lick all that oyster meat off. I'm being silly, right? This emotional stuff can be really hard. I don't want to be serious all the time and be like, oh, we have all these emotions and we must face them all in this way and deal with them all in these ways. And I mean, gosh, that just would get a little heavy, right? So let's make fun. Let's make light of things. Let's laugh. All right. Off topic, shiny object syndrome today. Getting back to self-confidence. Self-confidence is that experience like that bike example. Or it could be, I know that when I do this kind of job, when I go for this kind of job in my career, I know that I have a tendency to do very well at it because I have experience that shows me no matter what company I worked for, in what capacity, as long as I was kind of in that area of my expertise, I shined. I did really, really well. Where I found trouble or felt like I had a lack of confidence is when I would say get a job in an area that is pretty much in my area of expertise, but now they're asking me to do things I've never done before. And then I start to get shaky or nervous or upset or worried or fearful that I won't be able to maybe handle those new responsibilities because I don't really have the experience. I don't really have the confidence to understand how to do those things, right? Whatever. All right. So the problem with confidence, and as I said at the very beginning, over the next 3 days, we're going to go through self-confidence, self-esteem, and self-worth. And then we're going to spend a whole day next week on talking about self-saboteurs and how we self-sabotage. And that's a little different than what I'm talking about in these next 3 days about these self issues, right? The issue is that self-confidence itself can become a self-saboteur. It can sabotage us because it can hold us back and keep us in a place of, fear. It can bring up our limiting beliefs or the belief systems and the old experiences that we've had, or even if they're just experiences that maybe we didn't have, but people told us Well, you're not any good at that. You can't do that. Why would you want to do that? Like, I have a friend who has been working in a career, wanted to start their own business, and their friends and family didn't really agree with the business that this person wanted to start. And they were all up in their business about, like, you can't do that, and why are you going to do that, and why do you want to give up that kind of stable, good job that pays XYZ amount of dollars per year just to try this? Like, it could fall apart, and what are you going to do then? We can't help you. So then it starts to stir up the fears in each of us that says, oh, well, you can't see my face? Oh, how's that? Is that better? Somehow my camera got pushed back. I'm so sorry. What did you see? Only like the weird top of my head or something? I don't know why I wasn't seeing that, but I'm sorry. Thank you, Vicky. Is that better? I hope. I'll kind of wait and see if, well, anyway, if I already started this and you guys weren't really seeing my face and only maybe kind of part of my head, then maybe it's okay now. All right. So, you know, this friend who wanted to start this business, and their friends and family were telling them that you can't do this, you can't do that. Like, why are you going to do this? Started to create all those thoughts in my friend's head, and started kind of stirring up all those fears, started stirring up all those limiting beliefs that they had about whether or not they were confident enough to pull this off and to potentially create this business for themselves that ultimately then would allow them to quit their job. So self-confidence, when it's lower, can be a saboteur. It can sabotage us from kind of taking those actions and stepping into those places where we feel confident to move forward or to make decisions or to take actions that will move us forward in our life. So it can also bring up beliefs, limiting beliefs that we didn't even know we had, right? Like, I'm this confident person. I've always been confident. I don't understand why now I'm not feeling so confident. All right. So self-confidence is about the experience. I've had the experience. I've had some expertise or some knowledge or some awareness that I have been able to take an action or get a certain outcome or move through something in a particular way. And now all of a sudden there's a whole bunch of fears or limiting beliefs or thoughts that I'm having that says, maybe you're not. Maybe you can't. Maybe this won't work out. Maybe that outcome will be different this time. And all of a sudden it becomes this conflicted thing. And then we become afraid, or it raises up thoughts and stirs up different beliefs or limiting beliefs that we have or knew we had or maybe didn't know we had. And it creates this lack of self-confidence. So what can we do about it? Well, within self-confidence, yesterday, day 14, I asked you to write down the positives, right? That if you did the exercise, when we were looking at emotional intelligence and kind of emotional smarts, I asked you to write down on one side of a paper, on one sheet, all of the things that you deemed positive about yourself, your strengths, your positives, the things you love and like about yourself. And within self-confidence, it's important to write all those things down that you feel confident in. Okay, so first write all those down, that things you feel confident in. I'm confident I'm a good mom. I'm confident, well, I don't know, does any of us ever feel like we're good parents? Okay, so maybe that's not the best example. But that's not true, because like, I know obviously with my 28-year-old son, there were things that I said and did while he was growing up that I didn't feel good about. We're all human, right? But overall, can I say I feel confident that I was a good mother? Yes, I can. So regardless, if you feel confident in something, write down all the things you feel confident in. Okay? Then what you need to do is take those strengths from yesterday. if you did the exercise. And if you didn't, then it's fine. Just jot down the things that you feel you are strong in, that are positive about you, the things that you like. So you first write down all the things you feel confident in. Then you take a look at the strengths that you have, and you write those qualities next to it. Like, I almost feel like this is coming out confusing. So let's take an example. I feel confident that I am a good mother. And on my strengths list, I wrote that I am loving, I am compassionate, I am patient. Okay? Let's say those are things I had written on my strengths list about me. So now I'm looking at this. I feel confident as a mom. And I'm looking at that I feel patient. I believe that about myself, that I am patient, I am loving, and I am compassionate. So now I take a look at the qualities of that patience, that lovingness, and that compassion. And I look at that I'm a good mom statement, and I go, is that someone who behaved more often than not in this compassionate, loving, and patient way? And I can see how when I'm looking at my strengths and then I'm looking at the things I'm confident in, I can see how those qualities interchange, right? And the reason that this is important is that if I'm not feeling confident about something, I need to potentially remind myself that I feel loving, compassionate, and patient. So if I'm not feeling confident, let's go back to the job example. If I get this new job and I know that I have always been good in these other areas, but now they're asking me to do something in an area that I have never really done before, and I'm starting to feel shakiness in my confidence level, if I go and look at what I feel confident in, I'm confident, let's take it from the job perspective then, I feel confident in this ability and this ability and this ability. Okay, what are the qualities that I have used in those abilities? Well, I've been patient, I've listened, I read up on stuff, I stay up on the latest trends within this arena. Okay, now they're asking me to do this new thing. I don't know if I can do it. Well, what is required of that new thing? Same thing, right? Maybe reading up on stuff, being patient with yourself, taking time, instead of beating ourselves up, taking time to learn this new area, right? Instead of going into a fear-based place where we say, but my boss is going to want me to make sure that I show them I know this by Friday. And then we start getting all in our head and confused or frustrated because we're afraid that we're not going to show up correctly for our boss. We're not going to do the job properly. And then we might go into a place of worry or fear that, oh, we're a brand new employee. Maybe they'll fire us, or maybe we're on probation and they're judging us and they're marking it down like, oh, Susan doesn't really know how to do this thing. Let's see, Vicky said, I'm finally getting placed. Oh, yeah, good for you. Oh, good. Congratulations, Vic. That's awesome. I thought you were working. We'll have to connect and rehook up. It's been a couple of weeks since we connected last. All right, so then look at so that's the strengths, right? That's the strengths, and you're looking at the qualities, you're looking at the things you're confident in, and you're looking at the areas of strength where they've mixed, okay? Same works on the flip side. If you're not feeling confident, write down the things that you don't feel confident in and take a look at your weaknesses, your limitations, the negative things that you wrote down about yourself, and see if they cross, right? So I don't feel confident. Okay, perfect example in my life. I'm not confident in marketing. I don't have a lot of confidence in marketing. When you're in a business, you have to do marketing. I don't feel super confident in that. So what are the weaknesses, the limitations that I have that kind of mirror that fear of marketing? Well, I maybe want to make sure I get the outcome that says my marketing will reach the people that I want to reach to make the bigger impact. And I have fear that maybe I'll be rejected. okay? Or maybe I have fear that I don't know what I'm doing. Well, where else in my life have I felt like I have fear about, I don't know what I'm doing, or I'm going to feel rejected, or my feelings get hurt easily, or something like that, which they don't, but let's say they did. If I wrote down that I'm sensitive and my feelings get hurt easily, then I can kind of understand then where I might be afraid of this. Does this make sense to you guys? This is a little bit hard to do in this short little amount of time with just these couple little solutions, because it's kind of a process that you have to go to kind of pull out and look at where are the things that I feel strong in, confident wise and about myself, and then where are the things I don't feel confident in and I don't feel strong in, that I feel are areas that I could improve upon, and how they kind of overlay each other, right? So neither no marketing, afraid of the apps. Oh, other people's posts better than mine. Yeah, right, absolutely. And then we go into, oh, I don't want to look stupid, or I don't want to look like I'm copying, or I don't want to look like I don't know what I'm doing. We have a phrase for that. We actually call that the imposter syndrome, right? Like, I put myself out there in this confident way, and I'm strong because I'm patient and loving and strong. And I put myself out there and I'm like, see, and everybody thinks I've got it all together. But inside, I feel terrified. Inside, I don't feel confident at all. Inside, I feel like I don't know what I'm doing, or what if they find out that I don't know what I'm doing, or I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. And that becomes this imposter syndrome where I feel like an imposter. I feel like a fraud. And I feel like people are going to uncover that about me, right? So I keep putting on this air of confidence, like I know what I'm doing, when I really don't. So that's kind of a way to explain it a little bit. I know I felt that way too, Vicki, like other people's posts are better than mine. I'm like, gosh, why didn't I think of that, right? All right, so, excuse me. So if, let's say, let's take this to an emotional level, okay? Let's say that I am a stubborn person. Let's say that's one of the limitations, or the things that I wrote down on the flip side of my paper, that I tend to be a stubborn person. And let's say I'm in a situation where I'm behaving, why didn't I think of that all the time, right? I behave stubborn when I'm trying to think of an example quickly that would like maybe serve all of you, that you all could potentially identify with at one point or another. Let's say we're in a meeting at our job, right? And I know about me, because I did the positives and the negative list, that I tend to be stubborn. So we're in this meeting and the boss is saying, you know, let's talk about this issue. And I have a strong opinion about it, right? I am confident in my area that when I'm offering up this opinion, I know what I know. I've experienced this, and I understand this piece, and so I'm sharing that opinion, and I get somebody else who has different experiences who is saying, no, that's not right, because they're sharing their experience, that it was something totally different. Let's say it's the opposite. Let's say that I say, I know that when customer service picks up the phone, they always do the best they can to solve the problem for the customer. And my experiences up to that point have been such that my team, let's say I'm the customer service manager, my team I've always seen them to be very kind and very patient with customers, and I've not received any complaints about my team. But this new person or this other person has different sets of experiences. Well, I called up and they were kind of rude. Now, I'm stubborn, so I'm not going to be willing to listen to that other person's opinion, because I'm filtering it through the experiences I've already had that give me a confidence that say, This is what I've experienced, though. You're wrong. So if I understand that I tend to be stubborn and that I'm confident I know what I know, but this is now causing a problem. Now, let's say that person and I get into a little bit of a battle while in this meeting, and my boss comes to me later and says, Sue, you got to back off a little bit. You got to be a little more open to hearing another person's opinion or point of view. But I feel fired up inside because I'm confident in my experiences in my team. I'm not going to probably hear that boss very well unless I know that I tend to be a little stubborn. Does this make sense? I hope, right? Okay, so if you understand then some of the negatives that you kind of deal with and some of the challenges that you kind of face, then it helps you to understand the areas where you're confident in or where you maybe need to step into a little more confidence, a little more experience about it, or where you're overconfident as a way that's where it becomes a bit of a self-sabotager, okay? I'm overconfident because I'm unwilling. Two things. I'm either unwilling to hear anything different that might rock or shake my experience, or I'm overcompensating and acting confident because I'm really insecure inside. And that's the kind of thing that we actually kind of term arrogance, right? You can tell those people who act all confident all the time about everything, and it's just not true. Nobody's confident about everything all the time because it's based on experience. I've done a lot of things in my life and I've experienced a lot of stuff, but I may have only done a little bit in each area. It doesn't mean I've dove in really heavy. So I meet somebody who's dove in really heavy. I may be able to relate and identify with where they're at, but that doesn't mean that I'm at that level of confidence like they are. Okay. So if then you're finding that you are not confident in these certain areas, one of the things that you can do to improve that then is each day do one thing that helps to raise your confidence in that particular area. Go and experience something that will help give you confidence in that. So if it's, I want to start riding my bike again, even though I haven't ridden my bike in like 20 years, then I'm going to get out and I'm going to go ride my bike for just a couple minutes. And if I'm wobbly and I'm kind of falling over, it's okay. The more I do it, the more I practice that, the more I will feel confident again, that it will all come back to me and I will be able to kind of move back into that space where I can say, I feel confident that I can ride that bike. Or if it's within that area of the job where you need to understand a certain new area that you don't really know much about, then do something every day that's part of your strengths, okay, that will give you those experiences that show you are able to kind of keep moving forward in that. So I hope that makes sense. Hello, Daisy. Hello, Alamata. We're at the end, but obviously there's replay. Thank you guys for popping in. So that's self-confidence. Okay, tomorrow we're going to go over self-esteem because again, they're very different. If you should find that there is something stopping you, you have to take a look at what's underneath that. Is it a confidence issue? Is it an experience issue? Is it part of the negatives or the weaknesses or the limitations that you wrote down that are getting in the way of helping you to have that experience? So it's very important when you do that to kind of understand those pieces. So if you didn't do the exercise from yesterday, from day 14, it's totally cool. But to understand kind of self-confidence and keep it from becoming a sabotaging thing, then it's important to begin to understand what you see are your strengths and not your strengths, and then take a look at the areas where you feel confident and not so confident, and let's see where they overlay each other. Okay, so we kind of went long today. I apologize for that. But these are big topics because the selves can become self-sabotaging. All right. And again, we're going to spend a whole day next week on that. I will be back tomorrow at 2 o'clock for self-esteem. For now, though, if you know of anybody who you think might benefit from this, please feel free to share out the video. The whole idea, again, of these each day is to help create a larger impact for people. I do have a course on self-confidence. So if that is an issue for you, or you struggle with self-confidence and you think you might want to check out being a beta tester, I have the course. Again, all these beta tester opportunities for the courses that I have throughout all these 21 days that I'll mention here and there are based on the fact that I want to tweak them to today and with newer groups of people, so that I understand what people are wanting and needing a little bit differently than maybe when I first kind of, designed the course, okay? So if that is something you might be interested in, make sure that you pop me your email, as well as if you want the 21 days of the MP3s, make sure you pop your email to me on that one. For now, I hope you guys have a super confident, amazing, strong, powerful day. If not, it's okay. Just take a look at where you're not feeling that way. And I will see you tomorrow at 2 p.m. for self-esteem. Have an awesome day. I love you all. I'll see you tomorrow. Ciao for now.